Welding equipment and tools. Hello folks, welcome to the lesson on welding equipment and tools. This lecture will delve into the essential components that every welder must be familiar with: welding machines and power sources, welding electrodes and filler metals, hand tools, and measuring equipment. Our objective is to provide a comprehensive understanding of these elements for employees engaged in welding tasks. Welding machines and power sources. Welding machines are pivotal to any welding operation as they supply the current necessary to perform welding. There are several types of welding machines, each serving specific functions. Types of welding machines. Arc welding machines. These machines use an electric arc to melt the base material and filler material electrode. They are versatile and can be used with various metals. MIG welding machines. MIG stands for metal inert gas. These machines are user-friendly and frequently used for industrial welding purposes. They rely on a shielding gas to protect the weld area from contamination. TIG welding machines. TIG stands for tungsten inert gas. These machines offer precise control over the welding process and are ideal for thinner materials. Stick welding machines, also known as shielded metal arc welding SMAW. This technique uses a consumable electrode coated in flux to lay the weld. Power sources. The power source for welding machines can either be AC alternating current or DC direct current. AC is often used in aluminum welding, while DC is preferred for other materials due to its stable arc and deep penetration capabilities. Welding electrodes and filler metals. Welding electrodes and filler metals are critical materials in the welding process. Their primary role is to fill the gap between the two surfaces being joined. Here's a closer look at their types and applications. Electrodes. Consumable electrodes used in processes like MIG and stick welding. They melt away during the welding process and become part of the weld itself. Non-consumable electrodes used in TIG welding. These electrodes do not melt and are used to create the arc only. Filler metals. SMAW shielded metal arc welding filler metals. Typically, these are rods that serve both as the electrode and the filler. The flux covering protects the weld from oxidation and contamination. GMAW gas metal arc welding filler metals. These are wire electrodes continuously fed through the welding gun. GTAW gas tungsten arc welding filler metals. Separate filler rods are used alongside a tungsten electrode. Choosing the correct electrode and filler metal depends on factors such as the base material, the welding position, and the mechanical properties required of the finished weld. Hand tools and measuring equipment. To ensure precision and safety. Hand tools. Chipping hammer, grater than used to remove slag from a weld bead. Wire brush cleans the weld surface before and after welding. Angle grinder used for cutting, grinding, and polishing materials. C-clamp essential for holding the workpieces together firmly during welding. Measuring equipment, calipers used for taking precise measurements of the materials and welds. Tape measure, a fundamental tool for measuring length and dimensions. Welding gauges used for checking the thickness, concavity, or convexity of the welds. Level ensures the workpiece is perfectly horizontal or vertical. Executive summary. Here's a summary of welding equipment and tools. Welding machines. 1. MIG GMAW welders use a continuous wire electrode and shielding gas for high-speed welding. 2. TIG GTAW welders use a non-consumable tungsten electrode and shielding gas for precise welding. 3. Stick SMAW welders use a consumable electrode covered in flux for manual welding. 4. Arc welders use an electrical arc to melt and join metals. Welding tools. 1. Welding guns, handheld devices that hold the electrode and shielding gas. 2. Welding torches, handheld devices that hold the electrode and shielding gas for TIG welding. 3. Electrode holders, devices that hold the electrode in place for MIG and stick welding. 4. Shielding gas regulators, devices that regulate the flow of shielding gas. Safety equipment. 1. Welding helmets protect the eyes and face from UV radiation and sparks. 2. Safety glasses provide additional eye protection. 3. Welding gloves insulate the hands from heat and sparks. 4. Fire-resistant clothing protect the body from sparks and heat. Measuring and testing equipment. 1. Thermocouples measure temperature during welding. 2. Welding gauges measure the thickness of welds. 3. Leak testers detect leaks in welds. 4. Ultrasonic testers inspect welds for defects. Accessories. 1. Welding carts store and transport welding equipment. 2. Welding tables provide a stable work surface for welding. 3. Clamping systems hold workpieces in place during welding. 4. Welding consumables, electrodes, shielding gas, and other consumables used during welding. Here's a summary of welding machines and power sources. Types of welding machines. 1. MIGGMAW welders use a continuous wire electrode and shielding gas for high-speed welding. 2. TIGGTAW welders use a non-consumable tungsten electrode and shielding gas for precise welding. 3. Stick SMAW welders use a consumable electrode covered in flux for manual welding. 4. Arc welders use an electrical arc to melt and join metals. 5. Submerged arc welders use an electrical arc to melt and join metals with the arc submerged under a layer of flux. Power sources. 1. AC alternating current power sources provide a fluctuating current suitable for welding aluminum and other non-ferrous metals. 2. DC direct current power sources provide a constant current suitable for welding steel and other ferrous metals. 3. Pulsed power sources provide a high-frequency current suitable for welding thin materials and precision applications. 4. Inverter power sources use high-frequency technology to provide a stable and efficient power source. Welding machine components. 1. Power source converts electrical energy into a welding arc. 2. Welding transformer steps up or steps down the voltage to match the welding process. 3. Welding rectifier converts AC power to DC power. 4. Control panel regulates the welding process, including voltage, current, and wire feed speed. Safety features. 1. Overheat protection prevents the machine from overheating. 2. Overload protection prevents the machine from overloading. 3. Ground fault protection prevents electrical shock. 4. Arc fault protection prevents electrical shock and fire. Considerations for selecting a welding machine. 1. Welding process. Choose a machine that supports the desired welding process. 2. Material thickness. Choose a machine that can handle the thickness of the material. 3. Power requirements. Choose a machine that matches the available power source. 4. Portability. Choose a machine that is portable and easy to transport. Here's a summary of welding electrodes and filler metals. Types of welding electrodes. 1. Shielded metal arc welding small electrodes, consumable electrodes covered in flux used for manual welding. 2. Gas metal arc welding GMAW electrodes, continuous wire electrodes used for high-speed welding. 3. Gas tungsten arc welding GTAW electrodes, non-consumable tungsten electrodes used for precise welding. 4. Flux cord arc welding FCAW electrodes, continuous wire electrodes with a flux core used for high-speed welding. Filler metals. 1. Wire filler metals used for GMAW and FCAW processes. 2. Rod filler metals used for GTAW and SMAW processes. 3. Flux filler metals used for SMAW and FCAW processes.
Classification of welding electrodes and filler metals. 1. American Welding Society AWS classification classifies electrodes and filler metals based on their chemical composition and intended use. 2. American Society for Testing and Materials ASTM classification classifies electrodes and filler metals based on their mechanical properties and intended use. Properties of welding electrodes and filler metals. 1. Chemical composition affects the weld's mechanical properties and corrosion resistance. 2. Mechanical properties affect the weld's strength, ductility, and toughness. 3. Corrosion resistance affects the weld's resistance to corrosion and degradation. Selection criteria for welding electrodes and filler metals. 1. Base metal. Choose an electrode or filler metal compatible with the base metal. 2. Welding process. Choose an electrode or filler metal suitable for the welding process. 3. Mechanical properties. Choose an electrode or filler metal with the required mechanical properties. 4. Corrosion resistance. Choose an electrode or filler metal with the required corrosion resistance. Conclusion: understanding and skillfully using welding equipment and tools are paramount for successful welding operations. Each piece of equipment plays a significant role in ensuring that the welds are strong, durable, and clean. It is crucial for welders to have a profound knowledge of each tool's purpose and function, maintaining them in good condition for optimal performance. This concludes the lesson on welding equipment and tools. Reflect on how each component might interact in your specific welding tasks and consider how mastery of these elements contributes to quality workmanship in your field. Thank you for your attention and continue to expand your knowledge within this exciting domain. See you again in the next lesson. Happy learning, folks!